Mistakes that builders make are more common than you think. Stay tuned to this episode of The Den to hear more.
The Den, powered by the Lions Group, a show that explores trending topics in real estate, entrepreneurship, and personal growth. We're a small team of professionals with over $400 million in sales and nearly 2,000 successful transactions. You're listening to time-tested experts and industry leaders. Here's a refreshing look at real estate happenings and more. Welcome to The Den.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of The Den. And today we're going to go into builder mistakes, common mistakes builders make. But before I get into that, let me introduce my friends, my partners, my co-hosts, the fellow members of the Lions Group. To my right, Paul, Hand Me the Rock Berry, Aspen, the Ninja Gruen, and the boss, Shannon Martin Martinez. My name is Ben Black Thumb Lyons.
Birthday Boy Lyons.
Birthday boy. That's
Ben's
right.
birthday today.
It is Birthday Boy Lyons today. But that's second to Black Thumb because I used to wonder, my uncle used to always have like a black thumb, but he was always out like working in the garage and hammering things. And then I'm like, how do you miss a nail and hit your thumb?
Try it.
Yeah. It's a lot easier than
It's very easy.
most people imagine. To hit your thumb and turn it black. So let's back to it. Builder mistakes. Today we're going to talk about some of the common builder mistakes that we see in this business. And believe me, they are more common than you think. And I still to this day walk through new construction. I go, wow, they didn't think through some of this build. So Aspen, I'm going to kick it off with you. We've seen a lot of new construction lately. What are some of the What's one of the biggest things that you see that a builder should be thinking about, or some of the big mistakes that you see?
There was kind of two things I was thinking of. One is design with functionality in mind. Just because something looks good, if you can't walk around the table to get out the door, if you can't open the door to your washer and dryer without hitting a wall, little things like that really make the livability of the space. And I would say the thing that kind of bugs me the most are the last little items on a new build, like the 99%'s done and they just haven't finished everything and you see little nail holes or the caulking's not great. That kind of thing really bugs me. I'm like, if it's a luxury, especially if it's like a luxury purchase, custom build, finish those last things because it really makes it look finished. Even if you step back and it looks great, you walk up, near something, you're like, oh, they're missing the grout in like this part of the wall or whatever it might be, in your little rock wall that you have, or that kind of stuff really bugs me. But I think the functionality is the biggest thing because you can fix those little things. You can finish those items, but it's really hard to change the size of a room or you have to get a smaller washer dryer or things like that.
Yeah. People don't think about the doors swinging open. I see that in kitchens. Like, it's like, oh, you didn't think through like the possibilities of a fridge, because some are double door, some's a single door. And then the height, sometimes like they don't build them high enough or the cabinets are too low because you've got these higher fridges. You would think they're all uniform, like white is a normal single color paint. No, there's about 60 shades of white. So it's the same thing with cabinetry and appliances. But yeah, we do see that where double doors are doors are crossing and hitting each other to open into a space. So interesting. But you're also saying the finish work is important.
The finish work is so important. It brings it from being built to being completed. I think finishing work is like, it just irks me so bad whenever I go into this new build and they say it's done. And I'm like, there's a gap on your trim. That kind of stuff just really, really
the
bugs
worst
me.
one that is the rustic finish, where it's like untreated wood. It's not really, it's still rough, and all the fits are off a little bit. And they say, well, that's the design of it. I was like, well, it looks like a DIY project.
Yeah.
We paid $1 million for this. Why am I dealing with, window frames that are off?
Yeah.
So
just because you want the look.
Funny story about that. So my car door, the handles match up because, my door lifts up. So the handles are right next to each other. So the front door and the rear door touch each other. On one side matches up perfectly. On the other side, it's like a centimeter off.
Oh, hell no.
And it drives me
crazy. That would be nutty.
Driving down the road thinking about that, right?
Yeah, luckily it's on the passenger side, so I don't see it that much.
And I think there's a different standard. Like if you're going into a 30, 50-year-old house, those things don't really bother you that much. But especially with a new build, people build new because they want perfect, untouched, first one to live in it. Everything is right. That it matters.
It does matter.
It matters. You're paying a premium for new construction.
That little stuff matters the most.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if they're going to do a rustic look, like you can do that and still have it finished. It doesn't have to be all cattywampus.
Yeah, it doesn't mean bad workmanship.
Yeah.
Right.
It means the look of it. It can still be done well, but the look of it looks rustic.
Yeah.
You know, like log cabins, you don't just throw stuff up there and hope it sticks and you go, well, it's a log cabin. No, you want it to look right.
Right.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Shannon, what are some of the things that you see or you notice maybe with the functionality of a home or, room spaces that you think builders should pay attention to? I
think that these days, when we talk about builder mistakes, we have a lot of regulations and a lot of people looking over things and you have to get things signed off on. So, there's not really huge quality mistakes. It's usually like what we're talking about. It's functionality things. And I think one of the things with these new open living areas, because that's just so popular these days, and it's nice because we entertain a lot. So we have an open living room and kitchen and dining room area. But some of the times the problem is it's so open, there's not a wall space. You can't have a lamp next to your chair and they didn't put one at the floor, or you can't have, they'll have the kitchen open and a bar, but then, you can't put your couch here. You're going to have to put it, 4 feet from the television to make a walkway back so you can pull stools out. Things like that. You don't see that in a vacant house. I think we see it because we see these houses all the time. But I think somebody just looking at it goes, this is a really nice floor plan. This is really great. But then they start figuring out how they're going to put furniture in there. And you're never going to have a lamp next to your chair. You're never going to have, a coffee table between your television and your couch. And those things really matter. And those things are going to make you not like that house once you get in. Another thing I really don't like is these open kitchens that they have, which I love the look of, but they have very limited cabinet space. And they're kind of just one wall and they're open to a room, maybe an island or something. A lot of them have open shelving. I love that. It's a great look. But for me, I have a million appliances. I've got several sets of dishes. I've got a lot of specialty things that I collect over the years. And I want room for that. And I want room for that in a pantry or in cabinetry that's closed off.
Yeah, put in a butler's pantry.
Right, exactly. Exactly, yeah. A lot of people don't want all of their appliances sitting out, cluttering up their countertops.
Yeah, all over the countertop.
Yeah.
I could see you could have you ever seen like that lifting drawer that kind of lifts up and you put the mixer on there and then you like just push it back down?
My new listing has that.
I love that.
I was like, that's a feature.
Yeah, that is a feature.
Yeah, it is. Those things are heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're ugly to just sit on the counter all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, see, I love my KitchenAid.
Do you?
I just love my KitchenAid. So it sits out, but it is on like little pads so I can slide it. It's too heavy. You can't pick it up.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just bitter because my KitchenAid bit the dust like 3 months ago. So now I'm like kneading dough by hand. And I'm like, what is this?
Back to the Stone Age.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
And you come back, I lost a nail.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they are making a lot of the kind of those like appliance garages. They kind of look like the bread boxes and you lift it up. But they actually have plug-ins inside. So you can leave your stuff plugged in and then just put it back in and pull it out.
Have you seen those new ones where it's like a wall that goes down and it looks like the backsplash? Like so it doesn't look like something you lift up and then you press a button and it like basically lifts up the granite slab that you have.
Oh, wow.
And it's all under there. So it looks like a complete flush thing. And then those are nice.
How fancy is that?
How the other half lives.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Remember like the 80s, 90s, if you go see some of those houses, you'll see countertops with like where you can put your
blender
in. Yeah. Like that was a big deal
at
that time.
Right?
Yeah.
It was built
into
the
big deal at
countertop.
that
You
time.
could like switch it to different things.
And at this point, all those appliances are gone and dead.
Yeah.
So you buy those and you just have to redo your countertop.
Yeah, it's like
but it was very nice.
Like a bread maker, the blender. You could just switch it out for
built
whatever.
right in.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Well, back to today.
I feel like a bobblehead agreeing with everything over here.
Yep, totally. Paul, you're in and out of a lot of houses.
Hi, I'm Shannon, a partner at the Lions Group. We're dedicated to making your real estate experience the best it can be. If you're looking to buy or sell, go to sjcbroker.com and watch our informational video series. These videos break down the process and shed some light on buying or selling. While you're there, schedule a private consultation with one of our partners. We'd love to sit down, talk strategy, and give you the real advantage in today's market. You deserve the best, so take the steps and we'll talk to you soon. Now back to the show.
What are some of the things you noticed, maybe behind the curtains, like behind the scenes, that builders should be paying more attention to, or things that they do wrong?
There's a big one. So when builders, you have an architect that makes the plans, right? And they have the drawing. Then you give it to the concrete guy or the foundation guy, and they put it together. Then you give it to the framers, right? And they frame the floor, they frame the walls, they put the roof on. Then when the plumbers go in and the HVAC people go in, that's when everything goes wrong.
Because they don't have the space.
There's no space. So when they do the floor framing, they don't account for the size of a tub and where that drain line needs to go. A toilet, where that drain line needs to go. So I see all the time the floor joists being notched or cut or all of that kind of stuff. And they're engineered to hold a certain amount of weight. When you cut those things or put a big hole in the side of one of them, you've lost the integrity of that floor joist. That flooring is now won't hold the weight. Put a full bathtub in there, put a person in it. I mean, the integrity of that floor has been compromised. And if there's a bathroom, reinforce the whole floor so that if you do need to cut those out, it's not going to, possibly damage the entire house.
Well, it's expensive, Paul.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, that's more money.
Yeah.
Well, you put the floor joists in, but you could just, block them and then you can cut whatever you want because they're blocked. But I see a lot of times those plumbers or the HVAC people go in there, notch whatever they want and leave it. You have to go back in there and reinforce what you've just done. And too many houses I've seen, they just don't do that.
Wow.
The other thing is crawl space access points in the house. You lift one up and you have this humongous opening and you get down there and they have not reinforced it at all. Or you open one up and there's a floor joist right in the middle of it.
My crawl space opening is in the worst spot. It's underneath our stairs, but all the way back around the corner, like as far back as you can get to it. Like it goes in and around and back. And we keep all of our decorations for the year in there. So every time we need to get in there. But I will say our crawl space is set up very good. But to get to it, we have to take out everything that we have.
Well, and think about getting equipment down in there, HVAC, radon, mitigation stuff. People aren't thinking about these things. And there's an order in which you have to do things. And I think the people need to have a conversation before they finish it.
Yeah. Well, the good thing though, Aspen, is if like you're dragging a body, like it just kind of folds around that little ledge.
That's where I keep my food storage just in case everything. No one will find it.
Yeah,
now they will.
No one will find it.
Right.
Well, here's the other thing that you have some experience with: plumbing that isn't at the right pitch, the right angle to drain, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I've had that a few times in my years.
People just need to do the job right. And I see in a lot of new constructions that it's, things are engineered to just kind of like fit in place now, that when it doesn't, they just kind of leave it. So I've seen sill plates be like this, or sill plates are like this, and you got your rim joist and you got everything sitting here. And then all of a sudden they'll flop that down and sit it on top just because it fits better. For example, that big shed that they're doing out in front of the museum in Farmington?
Yep.
What they did was they built...
You mean the convention center? You call it a shed?
It's a little more than a shed.
It's a little more than a shed.
It's enormous.
But we know what you're saying.
Center, basically.
I don't know what the name of it is.
Outdoor convention center.
It's like they're gonna rent it out for weddings and stuff like that. But they did the shell, and then they had all of the pieces that go on the outside of it, and they figured out that it didn't fit right. So they had to do it 3 times to get it to fit right.
Ooh.
I think you just have to have some planning before you start the job.
That's why the general contractor is so important. It really matters who you pick. Even if they're not doing any of the work, they're the engineer behind it all. They're the ones making sure everything works together and everybody's doing the right thing.
Yeah.
That's a huge component of getting it right.
There was a house in our neighborhood that was almost completely built. And then they found out it was 5 feet too close to the road. Luckily, they did not make them redo it, but they could have.
That's a big deal. That's a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah, that could be a major issue. Oh, you got to rip that down.
The whole house, basically.
Yeah.
Foundation, everything. Walls were up. Everything.
Yeah, that is so important to have a general contractor looking at, because they are looking at those things. And to the everyday audience, and even me, like, what is the function of a sill plate? Right? So you would know that. You understand that. But most people don't. If they saw a sill plate turned sideways or upright, they wouldn't know the difference or why it matters.
Yeah, well, I mean, and you got to think your home's a living, breathing thing, right? Everything that goes into it has to be thought out. When you don't put any ventilation in your crawl space or in your attic, all of a sudden you have perfect spot for mold to grow.
Mm-hmm.
It's there's more thinking that needs to go into some of these homes as opposed to put it up in 3 months. I'd rather have a home put up in 6 months and done well than 3 months and we have tons of problems.
There's a house that I have under contract right now in Durango, and it is redone so well. So it's a remodel, but also an add-on. So they added on a whole primary bedroom, bathroom, closet, all this, everything outside is completely redone, but they've remodeled and redone so many houses that they do the contract work themselves. Anytime there was like a faucet outside, in 2 spots, they put hot water. Whenever they were replacing their fireplaces, one's a pellet stove and one's a wood stove, but they went ahead and since they were remodeling it, they put gas and electric hookups there too. The bathtub, they tiled all the way underneath it and have the valve where you can just cut it if you don't want it. And like stuff like that.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Even like there's a knob in the primary bathroom where you turn it on and it heats the floor in the primary bathroom and the primary closet. So it's like warm in both those places.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever they put in the toilet, they added a spot if someone wanted to hook up a bidet. Everything is just, even if they don't have it, the option for it is there.
Right.
It's really nice to see that kind of stuff.
It's a testament to people thinking through, like to what you were saying, like put some thought into what you're doing before you do it and then execute a plan. I mean, versatility, it's hard to argue that versatility isn't one of the most important things you can incorporate when you're building a home. I mean, you want some versatility, just like what you were saying. Add the extra component so you could put a bidet in, or add the hot water line. You're already running lines.
They ran hot water under the sidewalks. They don't have it hooked up to the boiler, but they have a leg. If you want to hook it up, it's right there. And that stuff doesn't cost that much more to do it while you're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
What costs a lot is whenever you go to
redo it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like the lines in the driveways, so you don't get ice in your driveway if you have one that stays in the shadows all year.
Yeah, depending on what way your house faces, that should definitely be something you consider.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I've been running into lately, in fact, just over the weekend, I was showing a wonderful couple houses, and great home, but we get into the master bedroom, or the primary bedroom, I should say, and there's windows on every single wall. And it's like, well, where's your bed supposed to go? Like, there's no thought put into that, because if you have a headboard of any kind, now you're blocking half of a window, and it's just awkward. And a lot of people can't sleep comfortably if knowing that a window is right behind their head. Yeah. I mean, it probably wouldn't bother me, but I know that there's people that would certainly bother. And that's probably been one of the biggest issues with that particular property.
And a lot of people would just walk in and think it's such a bright, open, airy room. That's sometimes the problem, is that you don't even realize the problems until you move in and have to live there.
And sleeping, it being one a little bit darker. Now you have to have on that's how my room has 2 that have windows, and the windows where the bed is, they're actually really high. So you think, oh, it's just letting more light in. No, it's so annoying. The moon like shines directly through it, and it's not something that's easily covered. We shoved like pillows up in there for a while because I was like, I can't sleep.
Yeah.
Or block windows that always allow the light in.
Always, yeah. They skewer the view.
That's what mine is. It's block ones. I'm like, drive me crazy.
Well, I think the worst one about primary bedrooms is the primary bedroom bathroom with no door. Yeah, there's no separation.
Yeah.
Who thought that was a good idea?
I don't know.
Yeah. It's not good for a marriage.
No.
I mean, there are things you don't want to share with your partner.
Yeah. And in some of these bedrooms, there's no way around it.
Yeah.
You got to close off the whole room.
Yeah. It's been kind of a trend lately. It's weird. It's like, what are we doing here?
They're starting to do that, from what I understand. They're starting to do hotels with, to give them a more open feel. So they have been designing them with like completely open glass. Yeah. So like it's completely open. Well, I'm sorry. If I'm staying with my grandkids or even my husband, I do want to be on the other side alone.
Yeah.
I don't want to
I actually feel that way about most things. How everyone loves the open concept kitchen. I hate it. I want like a door to the kitchen. I like everything really separated, like old school. I just feel like it feels so homey. Not everyone needs to be everywhere.
in everyone's room.
Yeah, it's okay to have a little bit of space for sure.
So you like a little bit of privacy.
Yeah, and sometimes I'm like, because I do a lot of the cooking and I see the thought process with these open kitchens. It's for when you're hosting, and we host a lot. You know, you want to be with them because you are in the kitchen a lot, and you want to. I get the concept of it, but also sometimes it's nice to have the kids over here playing, and and then the guys in one room, the girls hanging out, or whatever it might be. It's nice to have a little bit of separation sometimes. We don't all need to be together all the time.
Yeah. Makes sense. One of the other things I've been seeing is just not enough like storage space.
Yeah.
Like really cool house, but man, like you really start thinking about closet space and maybe some pantry space. And some of these newer homes are lacking. Are you all seeing that as well?
Yeah.
And that is a big problem because then you're forced to go out into the garage or buy another piece of furniture,
an armoire or something for your
like
room.
That. Yeah. Gentleman's closet, something to that effect. And storage really is important. I mean, it's one of those things that you don't want to pay extra for, but you really need it.
So you don't have clutter too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hate clutter.
That's why we have that appliance garage. You can stick all your clutter in there.
I do not have that or a pantry. That's one thing Bryson, but we have a lot of storage in our kitchen, but Bryson says he wants a butler's pantry, like a full length one if we ever build or move. That's something he says is really important to him. And that was on the list of things we wanted, but it was the one thing that the house didn't have, but it had everything else. So I was like, well.
Yeah. You got to compromise somewhere.
There's not a lot of those in this area either.
Yeah. And we do have plenty. Honestly, more storage than we need. We could get rid of some stuff. We don't. They're all full.
Right.
But we could get rid of some stuff.
Time to purge. And then I was just in a new build over the weekend as well. And one of the things, the buyers were walking through, we love it. We love it. And of course, they had nothing but great things to say. But I was going, well, notice how many windows there are. And there are no window coverings. Like that is a big expense. I think it's
my house too.
Yeah,
you guys are just pointing out all the things wrong with my
house. Something to be, cognizant of because that adds up. I mean, you've seen how much is it?
I got a quote for blinds, and that's why we haven't done it yet because I was like, it's a little warm in the summer. Yeah. It's okay. Yeah. But now we have like art and stuff that I'm like, oh, it's going to start getting ruined. Like we have rugs hanging and we have our art, and I'm like, oh, we do need to like not have the sun just beating on these things, or it's probably in the next year.
UV plastic over them?
One thing we do have is luckily when the house was built, they put electric up to it. So because we have 2-story living room, so we can get like automatic blinds, which is what I want. But then I would also like floor to ceiling curtains to go across the whole thing at night, and I want to just do it all at once. And that's because if it's just the blinds, it's still very expensive, but the curtains is what really.
Yeah, those
that's what really makes it expensive.
The draperies start adding up.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
One of the things that, should be done during the build when you're picking your site is figuring out how water is going to be diverted from the house.
Yeah.
I think that's a huge thing nowadays because there's not a lot of city lots anymore and everything's moving out to the county and we're on uneven ground. Figuring out where water's going to go. I can't tell you how many times I call out on an inspection or something, like water's moving right to the house. You go in the crawl space, efflorescence all on that side of the wall. I said, you're bringing moisture into the home because you haven't done swales or diversion or
especially for insurance now too. I just got an insurance thing quote back where they said there had to be 5 feet around the entire house of gravel, concrete, tile. There was a little bit of grass that came up underneath the house, like towards the basement, but everything else, it had like fireproof tile all around it, concrete all around it, but they called out.
The insurance company driven landscaping.
Yep. They called out. They said they had to put 5 feet because they had like underneath, like a little garden area, which was just flowers and then grass, manicured grass. They said, nope. Even though it went up to a concrete wall for the basement.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which has never been an issue before that I know of.
Yeah. So the game changes a bit. What do you see real quick, Paul? We got just a few minutes left with HVACs. Like I know the builders like to put them on the roof for being cost effective, but really is it the best thing to do? Is have it on the roof? Is it better to have it on the side of the home?
Well, it depends on how you do it. I think if you do it correctly, like you see some of these new homes that they'll put the HVAC up there and it'll be like a tile roof or a Yeah, tile roof, and then it'll have shingles below the HVAC. Usually those are reinforced. What you have to think about is you're bringing water onto the roof. So it condenses, it leaks, all of those things. You have to figure out a way for it to get it off the roof without it affecting the roof. HVACs on the roof, I think, are a pretty effective way to do it. I don't think there's a problem with that if you do it right. One of the things that I see a lot is in an older house where they change things and they bring venting and all that kind of stuff up there, they don't necessarily reinforce anything to hold the weight of these new things. And then what they do is they run it along the floor of the ceiling joists or the rafters, and then they just throw blown in insulation on it without any rhyme or reason. So if you got to go in there and repair it, you're actually wading through all the insulation.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Last thoughts. We have a couple of minutes left. Ladies, builder warranty. 1 year. Typically, builders give a 1-year warranty. How effective is that, and how should it be used if you're a buyer and you're buying a new build?
To its fullest potential.
Yes.
Everything. Ask everything as you're living in it. Ask everything to be repaired, because you're going to have probably the most problems right at the beginning, and then probably not going to have any problems for a while, and then stuff starts happening. So get as much of that beginning stuff done as you can, because eventually there's going to be issues. That's just part of living in a house. Get those, use it.
Yeah, and check everything. So I mean, you could live in a house for a couple of years and never use the outlet in the garage on the far wall or something like that. But that could be the one that's doesn't have power to it. You know, check everything in that first year and make sure that if there's anything that's not perfect, that it gets fixed. Because
and if it's not getting fixed, send them an email reminder before that year warranty is up. These are the things that we agreed to be repaired.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And of course, I'm assuming everyone in this room would recommend a home inspection, even on a new build.
Even on a new build, yes.
I would say especially on a new build.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it. Especially on a new build, because you don't know what you don't know, right? And that could be problematic.
Best way to figure out what you need to get in that first year warranty.
Yeah. Yep, fair enough, for sure. So we're winding down. Thank goodness there's other people in this business that are punching bags besides us. There's a lot of great builders out there, and they do the best that they can. A lot of them, most of them, I should say, have good intentions, but it's just the nature of the beast. It's, building a new home, a new property, a new investment, whatever it is, things can slip through the cracks. It can be problematic, to say the least, especially if you don't know what's going on behind the wall. So get that pre-inspection done before you purchase a property that's a new build. And of course, take full advantage of the 1-year builder warranty that most builders give. And if they don't, ask for it, press for it. I think in New Mexico it's required, but I'm not sure.
It's not required, but I think most of them just offer it.
Yeah. Yep. And fair enough. I mean, it should be offered. It should be something that's standard in this industry. So thank you. Hopefully you gleaned some helpful information on new builds. And if you like our content, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, go to our Facebook page and sign up for our newsletter. We have a fantastic newsletter that comes out. Of course, you can go to sjcbroker.com and schedule a private consultation with any one of us here at the Lions Group. We'd love to sit down with you, whether you're buying or selling commercial or residential real estate. We can give you an advantage in today's market. So thank you for listening to this episode of The Den. Until next time, we'll see you then.
Thank you for listening to this episode of The Den, powered by the Lions Group. Hit the subscribe button to keep informed, and check the show notes below for direct links to our buyer and seller video series. The buyer and seller video series can give you an inside track on taking the right steps in real estate. If you'd like to learn more about the Lions Group or to schedule a consultation, go to sjcbroker.com. Complex markets require complex strategies. The Lions Group can give you a true advantage in any market. Whether you're buying or selling, residential or commercial, contact us directly at sjcbroker.com. We're time-tested experts with a client-first approach, and we'll see you next time in The Den.